Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm actually filming a follow-up video from my original TEGADERM application video that I made a couple months ago. There were a lot of comments and questions left on that video to go a little bit further in depth, so since I just actually finished my tattoo today, I figured I would use this opportunity to create another video that goes a little bit more in depth into how to care for your tattoo and heal it with TEGADERM. So, because I just got my tattoo done a few hours ago, at this point it's ready for the bandage to come off, and I will be leaving it exposed to the air for 24 hours before applying the TEGADERM. I feel like this is obvious information, but always make sure that you wash your hands before touching your tattoo. Remember, it is an open wound. As you can see, this definitely has to be cleaned off before I let it air out for 24 hours, so I'm going to be using the Dial Gold antibacterial soap to initially disinfect and cleanse the area. Make sure that the water that you're using is not too cold and not too hot. You're going to want to be very gentle with your tattoo. Remember, it's swollen and prone to infection, especially at this stage. I'm very gently rubbing the soap lightly over top of the tattoo area, and I'm gonna rinse it off very carefully. Now that it is clean, I'm gonna take a paper towel. I prefer paper towels because they are a lot cleaner than towels that are hanging in your bathroom. So I'm gonna take the paper towel and I'm gonna lay it on top of my tattoo, and I'm not gonna wipe. I'm just gonna press gently. I'm gonna peel it off. All right. At this point, it is totally cool to let this be for 24 hours. You don't have to put anything on it. However, if you find that it's getting super uncomfortable, you can totally put a little bit of aquifer or cocoa butter on your tattoo. Just try to do a very light, thin layer and use it super sparingly. Okay, and that is it. This is all you have to do for the first night after getting your tattoo done. And like I said, we're gonna wait 24 hours before applying the TEGADERM. So I'll see you guys in 24 hours. Okay, you guys, so it has been 24 hours at this point. This has been exposed to the air for that entire amount of time, and now I am ready to cover it with the TEGADERM. I'm gonna end up leaving the TEGADERM on for about 72 hours, 3 days roughly. It helps to skip the entire stage of scabbing. By the time the TEGADERM will be coming off, your tattoo will be basically healed, and you'll just have to use lotion like normal. So to start, I am gonna wash my tattoo once again with the Dial Gold soap, and then I'm gonna use the rubbing alcohol to just dry it off before I apply the TEGADERM. Using the rubbing alcohol now, I'm just gonna pat this down. Okay, and now you are ready to apply the TEGADERM. Now, you can buy different types of this TEGADERM specifically. It comes in a couple different sizes. Depending on the size of your tattoo, you might want to go for the bigger one. One I'm going to be using today is the 4" by 4 3/4 inch. I am going to need about 2.5 TEGADERM patches to cover the entire thing. So, let me show you how to apply it. Okay, so you're just going to peel off the back portion right here. What you're going to do is you're going to place this starting in the middle on top of your tattoo and slowly pressing it out so that you make sure there's no air bubbles. So I'm going to actually do this facing the mirror, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So I decided to start a little bit lower on my arm to just see how much coverage I'm going to need. Like I said, make sure that you get all of the air bubbles out. When you have those air bubbles, it can actually cause more seepage. So what you want is to have it as flat as possible so that it basically looks just like your skin. So now I'm going to peel off the edge portion right here. Second one is applied. I'm pushing this down as I go. Okay, so the third TEGADERM has been applied, and actually I need a little bit up here, so I do have a half portion that I'm just going to use to cover that top area. Everywhere on the tattoo is covered, so I'm good in that regard, and now this is going to stay on for a couple days. I am going to be filming an update each day to show you what it looks like while you're wearing the TEGADERM so that you know what to expect from this process. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, I'm just checking in for update number 1. It's been a little over 24 hours, so I wanted to show you what the TEGADERM looks like with my tattoo right now. So as you can see, the TEGADERM is still very much intact. So as you can see, we do have a little bit of seepage down here underneath the rose, and there are areas on the tattoo where I can basically feel that there is some sort of liquid. That's completely normal. Do not freak out. In fact, sometimes this will fill even more with liquid. You might see that it's like pooling at the bottom. It is completely normal, so don't worry. This is going to stay on for 2 more days, and then I will take it off and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Hey guys, so I'm filming a final update before I remove the TEGADERM tomorrow, and I wanted to show you guys what you can expect around the 48-hour mark. I will let you guys know it is super itchy at this point. It's pretty much dried out under here. In fact, if you look really closely here, you can see that the liquid that was pooling under the TEGADERM has actually crystallized. So that's causing a little bit of like itchiness because now it's hard against the skin. Other than that, it's looking pretty nice. See, again, we have a little bit of that crystallizing down here at the bottom. Not too bad, not too uncomfortable. I will be seeing you guys in the morning for the removal of the TEGADERM, and I will show you guys how to moisturize and clean the tattoo. Final update, I am ready to take the TEGADERM off and clean and moisturize. Moisturize, what is that? So what I'm gonna do to start is I'm just going to slowly start pulling up the edges around the TEGADERM. I'm not gonna lie to you, this can be a tinge painful. Feels like you're ripping off a very large band-aid. I do want to show you guys up close a little bit that, see how I told you that some of the liquid was crystallizing under here? It is gonna pull off and look a little weird on your tattoo. Do not be alarmed. You're gonna wash this off and moisturize and it'll look 100% perfect. Okay, so obviously the tattoo looks super like dry and not pretty at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wash it the same way that we did when we first got the tattoo with the Dial Gold soap. However, we will be skipping the process of the alcohol wipes. We are no longer using them at all. I am going to dry it off the same way because remember, this process really just skips the majority of the scabbing, but you still will have the peeling, and I'm sure your arm is still going to be very tender at this point as well, because mine definitely is. So we have some of that color back now that we have cleaned it off. At this point in the process, you do not want to be using any heavy moisturizers like Aquaphor, so I would personally recommend using Lubriderm. This is a very lightweight moisturizing lotion that has no scent whatsoever. They say that it helps keep moisture for up to 24 hours. However, I still find that I do use it a couple times a day. So I'm just going to put some in my hand like this, making sure my hands are clean, obviously. And I'm just going to gently put this all over the tattoo. Any spot specifically feels more dry than others, maybe focus on that spot a little more, but remember to stay very, very gentle. See that it's a lot more vibrant than it was when we pulled off the TEGADERM, so if you see that it looks kind of funky when you take it off, don't be alarmed. I do apply the Lubriderm a couple times a day. Eventually you can go down to once a day. However, I personally find that with all of my tattoos that I have, I really like to put lotion on them in the morning when I wake up. It just helps to revitalize the color and moisturize the skin, so it is something that you should put into your daily tattoo care routine. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and I hope that you feel much more comfortable applying TEGADERM. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.